We are going through the AFC South. So the Jacksonville Jaguars did exactly what we thought they were going to do at the first pick. That was obvious for months and months and months. Were you surprised with the fact that they went with Travis Etienne with their second pick?
Very much so, especially now since they're going to use him as a slash type of running back. You know, they had James Robinson from a year ago, a guy that they signed as an undrafted free agent who I think really exceeded anyone's wildest dreams. I just think that you could have, if you're going to want a slash type of ball carrier or slash type of skill player, you could have gotten him in the later part of the draft. You could have got him on day 3. You didn't have to use a first round pick on him. So I was surprised, especially with some of the needs in the other areas. But you know what? In the very worst case scenario, you're pairing Trevor Lawrence back up with his favorite running back, so there's some comfort level there.
And with the Trevor Lawrence pick, is there anything else left to say about Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars?
No, other than, you know, I think these reports that some people, or there were teams that had Zach Wilson rated ahead of Trevor Lawrence. And listen, I was on Jacksonville radio station early in January, and I said, what's going to happen is people are going to try and manufacture ills in Trevor Lawrence's games that just aren't there. He's the closest thing that we've seen since Andrew Luck to a generational type of franchise quarterback. He's a leader on and off the field. I think he's primarily the reason why Urban Meyer came out of retirement to coach an NFL team. I'm very sure about Trevor Lawrence, or I should say I'm much sure about Trevor Lawrence's ability as a quarterback than I am of Urban Meyer's ability to be an NFL head coach.
And then their third pick was the first pick in the second round, Georgia cornerback Tyson Campbell.
Yeah, we had said this on Pro Football Network about an hour before the day 2 began. I said this was going to be the selection. I know that they were considering Trevon Moehrig of TCU, but he had a back issue. Tyson Campbell is a big physical corner with good speed, outstanding length, solid ball skills. He's not all the way there yet, but he's got a lot of upside. I thought this was a real good pick.
And then with their next pick, they went with the high upside, somebody who really hasn't played much football since 2018. That would be Stanford offensive tackle Walker Little.
High upside, but he's also a real good ball player. I mean, the fact is this, after the 2018 season, a lot of people, including myself, thought that Walker Little was going to be a top 20 pick. Played the first game of the 2019 season against Northwestern, hurt his knee, sat out 2019, opted out of 2020 because of COVID-related issues and the fact that Pac-12 didn't know when or where they were going to play their season. He's a big guy. He's athletic. He's got good foot quickness off the edge and pass protection. He can get out to the second level. But like you said, you know, he's someone who really hasn't played too much football the past 2 years. They franchised Cam Robinson, so they got Cam Robinson for at least one more year. So in a worst case scenario, you're looking at Walker Little developing behind Cam Robinson, and then they'll make a decision on whether Walker Little is their future at left tackle.
And then with the pick after that, they went with another player who really, you know, didn't play a lot in 2020 due to injury, but man, it's difficult to not see all those interceptions on his resume. That'd be Andre Cisco.
Yeah, a little bit of a shorter guy, barely if he even is 5'10". But this answered their needed safety. This is, you know, they passed up on Moehrig, they come back and they get Cisco, who's probably quicker, who's got better range, doesn't have the same size, doesn't have the same NFL type body, but he's got outstanding hands, covers a lot of area on the field. He's tough against the run. It's just that he's a bit of a smaller guy, and you're going to have to be a defense that doesn't mind employing safeties that are a little bit smaller.
Their next pick was 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗨𝗕, the defensive tackle from USC.
More of a 3-technique type of tackle. I was happy to see the Jaguars really wait this long to take a defensive lineman, because in all the interviews I was doing, they were talking about the Jaguars taking a defensive lineman with that second pick in round 1, and the Jaguars have expended a lot of draft capital on that defensive line, whether it be Taven Bryan, whether it be Josh Allen, whether it be 𝗙𝗢𝗢𝗓𝗏 𝗡𝗏. And really, Josh Allen had one good year. Those other guys have not panned out. And you know, you continue to use early picks at one area and you don't hit, you're not only going to have holes at that one area because you're not drafting good players, there are holes in other areas going to pop up. So I think toufelle in the 4th round was a good fit for them. He's more of a 3-technique type of tackle, perfect fit for a 4-man line. I think it was a good selection. I think it's a better situation for the Jaguars that they waited until day 3 before addressing the defensive line.
Yeah, and then they go with defensive line again in UAB defensive end Jordan Smith.
I'm kind of surprised by this. I think Jordan Smith, I mean, this goes along with the 𝗙𝗢𝗏𝗡𝗧𝗏 and Josh Allen picks in the sense that I think Jordan Smith, like those players, are better as 3-4 stand-up pass rushing linebackers as opposed to coming out of a 3-point stance. Now, Jordan Smith was used primarily, if not solely, at defensive end during the Senior Bowl, and he didn't have a good pro day. But when you watch the film, I mean, at UAB, they use him standing up. They drop him into coverage, and he is very athletic. He covers a lot of area on the field. So again, I mean, I like the player, but I just don't like the fit. I think Jordan Smith, you're doing him and your team a disservice not using him as a 3-4 stand-up linebacker.
And then they go with Ohio State tight end Luke Farrell.
Yeah, you knew at some point in time that 𝗬𝗢𝗡𝗧𝗨𝗕𝗏 was going to draft an Ohio State player. He takes one in Luke Farrell. I mean, there was a gaping hole tight end position for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, like with toufelle, I think they did a good job here. Rather than reaching for a tight end, they just waited it out and waited it out. They took good players. They get Farrell. I think Farrell is maybe a good number 3, number 2 tight end at the next level. A good blocker, a good pass catcher, but someone that you're not going to use more than a few yards off the line of scrimmage as a pass catcher.
Yeah, and then they go with the big-bodied wide receiver from Georgia Tech, Jalen Camp.
Yeah, I mean, more of a practice squad type guy. He's got excellent length. He's got excellent athleticism. But as we've seen, except for maybe Calvin Johnson, I mean, Georgia Tech has not had a good recent history of putting developed receivers into the draft. It's a situation where they got to come into the NFL and develop their games. I think that's the situation with Jalen Camp.
And then they had their UDFA class as well, highlighted probably by Dylan Moses. What did you think about their undrafted free agent?
Well, it all starts and ends with Dylan Moses. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Dylan Moses at one point in time was considered a first-round pick. Unfortunately, it's been injury after injury. I disagree with people who said he played poorly in 2020. I think it was a situation where he was asked to play assignment football, to basically stay with gap responsibilities, coverage responsibilities, rather than make plays on the ball. And I thought he did a real good job of it. But there's been a lot of injuries with Dylan Moses, which is sad to see. You hope he gets it back. You hope he's able to get to the point where he was in 2018, where he looked like a first-round pick. I think it was a terrific signing by the Jaguars.
And that is it. That's it for the Jacksonville Jaguars.